What shall we do? Students call citizens to form zbor. Zbor, it is kind of direct democracy at local level, even below the municipality. And it is kind of control mechanism regarding municipal assemblies, and it is kind of support to the student movement. They exchange ideas, they visit each other. I delivered several speeches to several boards. So they invited people to deliver speeches. And this is also kind of direct democracy instrument. There are weaknesses of direct democracy, for sure. For instance, organized minority could impose its will on Plano or on this board. So it isn't without shortcomings, but we like to fight for democracy. We have to fight for democracy, otherwise, at least in Serbian case, we are lost. There was no other way out. Solidarity spread was immediate. Education and culture system immediately supported students. Primary and secondary school professors support their ex-pupils, both in the streets and in strike. Their sacrifice was huge. They are very poorly paid, below average, and they supported the student movement. Artists, actors, editors, screenwriters, singers, everyone. One could say almost everyone important artist in Serbia supported the student movement. So there are a couple of exceptions. Preschool teachers, even they, because it is the most difficult for them to support the protests, because little children, they have to care about little children. But they wanted and they supported student movement whenever they can. But it was solidarity in broader society as well. And some are quite expected. First of all, students were the faculty blockades. They lived there. One should eat something. And people from different sectors, IT sector, Bakić Foundation, rich and poor, supported the student movement. One football player, and I will say his name, Ivan Bakić, when I published the Facebook that students need food, he called me immediately and asked what they need. I will provide anything. And he did. For New Year.
Is player in Serbia or in European part?
He is in Serbia. He played for the representation of Serbia, but he played for several football teams in Europe. and he lived in Switzerland for years. So it is farmers from Western Serbia prepared food for New Year, for 1st May as well. So it was something extraordinary. Professors lost their salaries. They were without salaries for months. University professor for 3 months. Then IT sector and Foundation Bakić supported us. It was kind of help. Lawyers went on strike for a month. Social workers in Belgrade went on strike. And I think that they are in strike right now as well. It is not known even in Serbian society. But there were examples of unexpected solidarity. The most important one, the most important outcome up to now is newborn solidarity between Serbs and Bosniaks. I wouldn't expect that I will face it in my life. There are too deep injuries. However, it has happened. And I'm so happy because of it. And this is the most important result up to now by the student movements. People faced kind of catharsis. They hold each other, kissed each other, cried. There were so touching moments, especially in Novi Pazar. And I'm sorry that I haven't provided photo that is a symbol of the student movement and this social change. There is this photo of student Sava from Ćuprija, town from central Serbia, and Nadia, student from Novi Pazar. Nadia wears hijab, Sava wears šajkača, his hat, his traditional Serbian hat, very often connected with Chetniks from the Second World War. And they were together. It is something unbelievable and something that encourages us that we can construct again normal society. It wasn't imaginable just 2 years ago. Then farmers, they are conservatives, usually. However, as I mentioned, they provided food for students during the blockades. But students supported farmers. When Rio Tinto wanted to build mining of lithium in Western Serbia, farmers were against it. Scholars, honest scholars from the university, supported the farmers. Students supported the farmers. Of course, there were some sold professors. They were on the paying list of Rio Tinto. So these people are not my brothers. All others are brothers and sisters. And I belong to academic community that is honest and open. I consider you as my brothers and sisters. But who else supported the student movement? War veterans. It was the biggest surprise. Probably plurality of them. And they are ready to protect our children. This is quotation. And they consider people from Novi Pazar, students from Novi Pazar, as their children. And they were present to defend students all over Serbia, especially former members of special military units are precious in fighting the regime of criminals. Then bikers, majority of bikers. On 15 March 2025, probably the biggest rally in Belgrade history, I don't know how many motorcycles were on the streets. It was unimaginable. Then pensioners, not majority, certainly. But there were so many touching scenes between pensioners and students. So obviously something important has happened in Serbia. Nevertheless, regime has its own activities. Propaganda, colored revolution. So it is the same as Rose Revolution, as other revolution. So it is, we are all agents of the US, usually, sometimes German, British, but we are agents, foreign mercenaries, blockaders, dirty blockaders, blockader terrorists, and finally Ustash. As I don't know whether are you familiar with Ustaše. Ustaše is a Croatian fascist movement, and probably if you want to offend the Serb, just call him. And I was named, I don't know how many times in public as Ustaš. It's so ridiculous that I'm not so impressed by this kind of communication. Then regime terror, it is much more serious issue. There were car attacks on the students on the street. And after the attacker was arrested, President abolished it or her after several months. And there were life endangered people by these attacks. There were several seriously injured people. Then regime thug attacks, imprisonments and police torture of the students, especially students. It is targeted. Then formation of so-called Chatsiland in the Belgrade center. It is bordered park of pioneers in center of Belgrade, just across the National Assembly, and several hundreds of regime thugs has been concentrated on this park in order to defend president, because this is presidency as well, just nearby the park. And if we attack the president, they are ready to defend him, because he is not confident in police. Although loyal people command the police. And he even dismissed loyal commanders in order to pick even more loyal commanders. So obviously this kind of paranoid behavior. And then regime used long-range acoustic device, or zvučni top, sound cannon, that made a lot of panics. Thankfully, nobody was killed, but there were serious injuries, and especially loss of power to hear. And there were a lack of solidarity, or if you want, failure of general strike appeals. Students called on repeatedly on general strike. I delivered a speech on 27th of January last year, and I should invite, or even not invite, but proclaim general strike. It wasn't possible because I talked with some workers, some leaders of smaller trade unions, and they were not ready to it. So I gave up. I just say, please go to general strike. It would be something important for us. No, it's never happened. Public service employees in general, they didn't join, they didn't want to go to general strike. Police, army, of course, one couldn't expect it. And the church. And the church, only 6 of 47 episcopes support anti-regime protests. And they were even visited Patriarch and his main advisor, Irene Bulović, Episcop of Bakić, Vojvodina. They visited President Putin and said to him that they are fighting colored revolution. Well, I was really proud that I am not a member of the church. So, international academic solidarity, last but not least, it was appealed by the international academic community in support of Serbian students and professors, more than 4,500 signatures. Some of them are the most distinguished scholars, for instance, in sociologists in the world. And I am proud that I am a member of the academic community. I am proud of myself, my colleagues, my brothers and sisters. Then university invitations like this one. I'm so honored to be here. Without academic solidarity, broader academic solidarity, there is no result. And we have to support anyone who fights for academic dignity, for purity of academic profession, against political pressures, against pressures of big capital. So we had to join and fight together. You see that academic community initiated the process of broader social solidarity, so it is possible. It is possible if we are trying to be possible. Without struggle, it wouldn't be possible. Support by individual colleagues, my friends, my brothers, sisters, for the group. That's it. We are all together. And I hope, having in mind Serbian-Bosniak relations I told about, that this wave of solidarity will cross the border, and that Bosnia-Herzegovina would be also peaceful place of solidarity. It's my hope. Thank you for your attention. I'm ready for your questions.